So you're interested in how these LLMs are changing things up in qualitative research,
Yeah.
especially for software engineering.
Yeah.
I get it. It's a lot to unpack.
Right.
We've got this research paper. It's called
Oh, yeah.
Applications and Implications of Large Language Models
Wow.
in Qualitative Analysis,
Okay.
a new frontier for empirical software engineering.
That's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful.
Yeah.
Not exactly light reading,
No.
but we're going to dive deep today
Yeah.
to figure out how LLMs are actually being used
Right.
in qualitative research right now.
Right now.
What works, what doesn't,
Yeah.
and what it all means for someone like you on the cutting edge of software engineering research.
It's a timely question,
Yeah.
especially since qualitative research methods
Right.
are so vital in software engineering.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
We're not just writing code.
Right.
We're building tools for real people
Yeah, that's right.
to do that well.
We need to understand team dynamics, communication patterns, user needs.
Right.
That's where qualitative research comes in.
Okay.
It helps us understand the human side of the equation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But anyone who's done qualitative research knows it can be incredibly time-consuming.
So time-consuming.
You're wading through interview transcripts, documents, tons of rich data.
Yeah.
It's valuable, sure.
Sure.
But it can feel like trying to find a needle in a haystack.
Right.
Sometimes.
That's where LLMs offer such exciting potential.
Okay. Yeah.
They're trained on massive data sets of text and code, allowing them to understand and process language
Right.
in a way that's truly remarkable.
Yeah.
What's really interesting is their underlying architecture,
Okay.
called a transformer network. It enables them to consider the relationships between words and phrases in a much more sophisticated way
Okay.
than previous language models.
Yeah.
The paper didn't just talk about LLMs in theory. They actually put them to work.
Right.
And what stood out to me was the sheer variety of tasks that they tackle.
Absolutely.
They used LLMs for coding, thematic analysis,
Okay.
and even screening articles
Right.
for literature reviews, tasks that normally take researchers a ton of time,
Oh, yeah.
like weeks or months.
It's remarkable to see these tools being applied to real-world research challenges.
Right.
And they weren't using some obscure AI either.
Yeah.
The paper highlights the use of tools.
Right.
You've probably heard of ChatGPT, GPT 3.5,
Okay.
GPT 4.
Right, right.
Each time they ran an LLM, it was almost like having a new coder or analyst on the team, bringing a fresh perspective to the data.
And here's where it gets even more interesting. They used LLMs to analyze the kind of data that's directly relevant to software engineering. Think interview transcripts from user studies, software documentation, even academic papers on software engineering methodologies. It's pretty mind-blowing to think about the possibilities.
What this research highlights is that LLMs could dramatically increase the efficiency of qualitative analysis. Tasks that might have taken weeks or even months could potentially be completed in a fraction of the time.
That speed is impressive.
Yeah.
But the paper found that it's not just about doing things faster.
Right.
LLMs can actually help researchers uncover hidden patterns and themes that they might have otherwise missed.
Oh, wow.
It's like having a second set of eyes on the data.
Yeah.
Eyes that have been trained on billions of words.
Right.
And can spot subtle connections that might escape even experienced researchers.
That's one of the most exciting aspects of this technology.
Yeah.
Think about it. LLMs could help us identify patterns in user feedback that suggest a design flaw, or uncover trends in code comments that point to potential communication breakdowns within a development team. These are insights that could significantly improve the way we build software.
And they could be especially useful for new researchers who are still learning the ropes of qualitative analysis.
Yeah.
It's almost like having a built-in mentor to guide you through the process.
Yes. LLMs can be powerful tools for learning and exploration.
Okay.
But it's important to remember that while they can point us towards interesting insights, they aren't a replacement for human judgment and expertise.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not about handing the reins over to AI.
Right.
It's about using LLMs strategically to enhance our own abilities.
Exactly.
I'm curious about those situations where human expertise is still absolutely critical.
Right.
What are some examples of that?
Well, one area where human expertise remains crucial is in interpreting the output of LLMs. While these models can identify recurring words or phrases, it takes a human researcher to understand the deeper meaning behind those patterns,
Right.
especially in the context of software engineering.
Can you give us an example of what that looks like?
Certainly, at Baptician.
Imagine you're using an LLM to analyze user feedback on a new code editing feature.
Yeah.
The LLM might flag the term frustrating as a frequently occurring theme,
Right.
but it's up to the human researcher
Okay.
to dig deeper and understand why users are feeling frustrated.
Right.
Is it the interface, the lack of certain features,
Yeah.
or perhaps a misunderstanding of how the features intended to be used?
Right.
LLMs can point us in the right direction.
Okay.
But they can't replace that nuanced human understanding of user needs and motivations.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like the LLM gives you the raw ingredients.
Right.
But it takes a human chef
Exactly.
to turn those ingredients into a delicious meal.
Precisely.
Yeah. And even with all their advantages, it's important to acknowledge that LLMs do have limitations. For instance, they can be inconsistent. They might give you slightly different results each time, even with the exact same data.
That's a bit unsettling.
It is.
How do we know how much we can really trust their findings if they're not consistently producing the same results?
That's a valid concern.
Yeah.
It highlights the importance of using LLMs thoughtfully and not treating them as a magic solution.
Right.
One way to address this inconsistency is to run the analysis multiple times and look for patterns in the results. You might also want to experiment with different LLMs to see if they provide different perspectives on the same data.
So a bit of healthy skepticism and a willingness to experiment are key.
Absolutely.
When working with these tools.
Absolutely.
I'm guessing there are other limitations.
Yes.
We need to be aware of as well.
Absolutely.
What else?
Another important limitation is that LLMs can struggle with nuance. They can have difficulty understanding things like sarcasm, humor, or complex arguments, which are all common in human communication. This is especially relevant in software engineering, where clear communication and understanding different perspectives are essential.
I remember working on a project where misinterpreting a sarcastic comment in a code review led to a whole chain of misunderstandings.
Oh, wow.
It's fascinating to think about how LLMs might handle those kinds of situations.
That's a great example of where human judgment is still essential.
Yeah.
We need to be aware of these limitations and not assume that LLMs can fully grasp the subtleties of human language, especially in specialized fields like software engineering.
So to recap, we've got these incredible tools that can analyze data at lightning speed and help us uncover hidden patterns.
Yes.
But they're not without their quirks and limitations. It sounds like a careful balancing act.
It is. It's about using LLMs strategically and responsibly, understanding both their strengths and their weaknesses. Now that we've explored both sides of the coin, let's shift gears and talk about what this all means for you. As someone interested in software engineering research, what are the practical implications of using LLMs in this field?
That's what I'm really excited to dig into.
Yeah.
Let's get specific.
Okay.
What are some real-world scenarios where LLMs could make a difference in software engineering?
Okay, let's paint some pictures here.
Right.
You mentioned user feedback earlier. How could LLMs actually be used to analyze that feedback in a way that's useful for a software engineering team? Imagine you've just released a new feature in your software application. You're getting tons of feedback from users, some positive, some negative, some just plain confused.
Of course.
An LLM could help you analyze all that feedback.
In record time, identifying key themes and potential pain points.
So instead of a team of developers manually reading through thousands of comments, they could get a quick overview of what users are saying thanks to the LLM.
Exactly. The LLM could group similar comments together, highlight recurring issues, and even suggest areas where the user interface or documentation might need to be improved. It's like having an AI-powered assistant that can sift through the noise and point you towards the most important insights.
That's a huge time saver.
But
But you mentioned earlier that human judgment is still crucial.
Right.
Where does that come into play in this scenario?
Well, the LLM might tell you that users are frustrated
Yeah.
with a particular feature,
Okay.
but it can't tell you why they're frustrated.
Oh, I see.
It takes a human researcher to dig deeper,
Okay.
to look at the specific comments and understand the context. Maybe the feature is too complex, right?
Or maybe it's missing a key functionality that users expect.
Yeah.
LLMs can give you the what,
Right.
but humans are still needed for the why.
It's a powerful combination then.
It is.
The LLM does the heavy lifting of sorting and analyzing the data,
Right.
and then the human researcher comes in
Right.
to provide that deeper level of interpretation and understanding.
Exactly.
What other scenarios can you think of where this kind of partnership between LLMs and humans would be valuable in software engineering?
Think about code reviews.
Okay.
They're essential for maintaining code quality.
Right.
But they can also generate a lot of text data, comments, suggestions, explanations. An LLM could analyze all of that data to identify recurring issues or patterns in the way developers communicate.
So instead of just focusing on individual code snippets, an LLM could help you see the bigger picture of how the team is working together.
Precisely. It could help identify communication breakdowns, areas where developers are consistently misunderstanding each other, or even suggest best practices for providing constructive feedback.
And all of this leads to better code, better collaboration, and ultimately a better product.
Right.
It's exciting to think about how these tools could not only improve the technical side of software development, but also the human side.
Yeah.
How teams communicate, how they learn, how they solve problems together.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
We're just scratching the surface of what's possible with LLMs in software engineering.
Yeah.
It's a rapidly evolving field, and I'm eager to see what new applications and insights emerge in the coming years.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I'm left thinking about how much potential there is for LLMs to change the way we approach qualitative research in software engineering. It's not just about making things faster.
Right.
It's about uncovering deeper insights, improving collaboration, and ultimately building better software that truly meets the needs of users.
Right.
I hope this has given you, our listener, a taste of what's possible and inspired you to think about how you might leverage these powerful tools in your own work.